Section 1. The Illusion of Freedom: How Global Events Shape Our Reality. The world watches in shock as conflicts erupt and economies crumble. These events are not isolated incidents. They are carefully crafted tools designed to shape public perception and steer us toward a specific future. A future where freedom is an illusion, carefully curated by unseen forces. Wars, for example, are often portrayed as battles for freedom and democracy. Yet they often serve to consolidate power, control resources, and reshape geopolitical landscapes. The human cost becomes irrelevant. Fear and uncertainty become the norm, making populations more susceptible to control. Economic crises follow a similar pattern. They are presented as inevitable consequences of complex systems, but often result from deliberate policies and manipulations. The ensuing panic and instability erode public trust and create fertile ground for greater control measures. These crises, whether manufactured or exploited, serve a singular purpose: to keep the public distracted and compliant. They create a climate of fear and uncertainty, making people more willing to accept solutions that promise security and stability, regardless of the cost to their freedom. Section 2. Manufacturing consent: Media's role in steering public opinion. In a world saturated with information, it's easy to assume we are well informed. But what if the information we consume is carefully selected and manipulated? What if the narratives we believe are meticulously crafted to serve hidden agendas? The media, once considered the watchdog of democracy, now often acts as a mouthpiece for those in power. News outlets, often owned by powerful corporations, shape public opinion by selectively highlighting certain events while downplaying others. They frame narratives to fit predetermined agendas, manufacturing consent for policies that benefit the elite. This manipulation extends beyond news reporting. Entertainment, documentaries, and even social media are increasingly used to subtly promote specific viewpoints and ideologies. Critical thinking is discouraged, replaced with a steady diet of fear-mongering and emotionally charged content. The result is a population that is simultaneously overinformed and misinformed. We are bombarded with a constant stream of data, yet lack the critical thinking skills to discern truth from fabrication. We become passive consumers of information, easily manipulated by those who control the narrative. Section 3. The Threads of Control: Connecting Climate Change, Urban Planning and Economic Policy. At first glance, issues like climate change, urban planning and economic policy seem distinct, but a closer look reveals a web of interconnected strategies, all converging toward a singular goal: centralized control. Climate change, for instance, is often presented as an existential threat, requiring immediate and drastic action. While the urgency is real, the proposed solutions often involve ceding more power to global entities and corporations. These entities then dictate policies, often at the expense of individual liberties and economic freedom. Similarly, urban planning initiatives, while presented as solutions for sustainability and efficiency, often result in greater surveillance and control over citizens' lives. Smart cities, with their interconnected sensors and data collection systems, offer unprecedented opportunities for monitoring and influencing behavior. These strategies are often justified under the guise of public safety, environmental protection, or economic progress. Yet they gradually erode individual liberties and concentrate power in the hands of a select few. The lines between public good and control become increasingly blurred. Section 4. C40 Cities: A Case Study in Controlled Urbanization. The C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group exemplifies how seemingly benign initiatives can mask broader agendas of control. Comprising megacities worldwide, C40 promotes sustainable urban development. However, their proposals often involve restricting personal choices under the banners of environmentalism and equity. C40's targets for 2030, impacting over 1 billion people, include limiting meat consumption, reducing car ownership, and shrinking the amount of clothing purchased. While framed as environmentally necessary, these restrictions represent a significant encroachment on individual freedoms. The promotion of 15-minute cities further illustrates this trend. This concept, while seemingly convenient, limits residents' movement within a confined radius. This restriction, purportedly for environmental reasons, concentrates control and limits individual autonomy. The C40's approach exemplifies a broader trend, using climate change and sustainability as justifications for policies that ultimately restrict freedom and choice. This approach raises concerns about the erosion of individual liberties under the guise of collective well-being. Section 5. Unmasking the agenda. Recognizing the signs of manipulation. The control mechanisms we've discussed are often subtle, operating beneath the surface of public awareness. They rely on deception, manipulation, and the exploitation of fear and uncertainty. However, by understanding the tactics employed, we can begin to see through the illusion and reclaim our power. One key sign is the use of emotionally charged language and imagery, when information is presented in a way designed to evoke fear, anger, or guilt. It's often a sign that someone is trying to manipulate our emotions and bypass our critical thinking. Another tactic is the creation of false dichotomies. We are often presented with only two options, both of which serve the agenda of those in power. By limiting the scope of debate and silencing dissenting voices, they create the illusion of consensus and stifle critical thought. Finally, pay attention to who benefits from the information or policies being presented. Follow the money trail, examine the power structures, and ask yourself who stands to gain from the narratives being promoted. Often, the answer lies not with the public good, but with the interests of a select few. Section 6. Reclaiming our power, a call to awareness and action. The picture we've painted may seem bleak, but it is not a cause for despair. The very act of recognizing these patterns of manipulation is a powerful step towards reclaiming our autonomy. By becoming aware of the tactics employed, we are less susceptible to their influence. Knowledge is power. Seek out diverse sources of information, question the narratives presented by mainstream media, and engage in critical thinking. Challenge the status quo, engage in open dialogue, and demand transparency from our leaders. Remember, the goal is not to succumb to fear or paranoia, but to approach the world with a healthy skepticism and a commitment to truth. We must be willing to question everything, to challenge assumptions, and to think for ourselves. The future is not predetermined. We have the power to shape it, but only if we are willing to see through the illusions and reclaim our agency. Let awareness be our guide and action our tool.